Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 7th of 2023, and given that there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes involving Disney and Snow White 2024, ahead of its official trailer release, which by the way, there's been a lot of trouble surrounding the Disney board and their decision on when to debut this trailer, a lot of which wanted to get this thing out at D23 event. That no longer may very well be happening, as a lot of arguments are beginning to rise over at Disney as they are beginning to backpedal on exactly what they really want to do with the marketing of Snow White 24. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we know that Peter Dinklage is someone that really had a lot of issues with Snow White 2024 back in February of 2022, but there's a lot more to discuss about what's going on between himself and Disney throughout all of 2023, even at this point in time right now. Now, we know that Peter Dinklage is very much seemingly egotistical at times. We know that he really tried to put other people in the dwarfism community out of work. He didn't want any kind of competition. That's what it really came across as, at least to me, and I'm sure a lot of you out there will agree, because we're going to be going over exactly what happened between Dinklage and Disney and exactly how it grew into further issues just recently. So anyway, let's get into all of the details surrounding this development. Now, we know that Peter Dinklage, has appeared in multiple franchises and wants to continue to appear in other franchises to expand his career. Alright, so with actor Peter Dinklage as the main cause and reason why Snow White 24 does not include authentic 7 dwarfs from the 1937 movie, one major development has to do with drama surrounding Dinklage with Disney themselves. As it turns out, Peter was turned down from getting a role for Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs as one of the dwarfs earlier on in production, when Disney was still planning to create an authentic and accurate take on the characters. Now, this is where Dinklage tried to use his Disney contacts to grab the role via, of course, who he knew through Marvel for the Avengers: Infinity War. Dinklage reportedly had a hard time with Disney after getting rejected as one of the 7 dwarf roles, and has held a grudge ever since Disney shot him down from getting a role. Now, Disney's excuse reportedly was that they wanted to grab unknown actors strictly for Snow White 24, and that also included the main star of the film, like Rachel Zegler. This is exactly why Peter Dinklage began to raise his voice and essentially ruined it for everybody when he called out Disney back in February of 2022, just before filming the movie in March. This is what last, of course, changed Disney's mind for their last-minute changes and how they were made to the story where they hired actors for the magical creatures. However, Dinklage was said to have lost many roles from Disney after raising his voice, where he was supposed to make more appearances in many Marvel films and shows moving onwards, including the future Avengers films. Now guys, let me just stop here for one moment because there's more to it than just that. Now, we know that Peter Dinklage is slowly but surely coming across as one of those guys that's very ego-driven, that wants his own career above all else, right? I've said this from the very beginning of this whole Snow White drama, that Peter Dinklage always came across like an actor, like an individual, that wanted zero, and I mean zero competition, alright? And it just goes to show you, and it makes a lot more sense now, why he was taking things out on Disney, is because, as it turns out, at a shocking turn of events, they turned him down way earlier on in 2022 for one of the roles as the 7 Dwarfs. And like I said before, Disney's defense, their overall way of justifying that was they wanted unknown actors specifically, and to expand their list of actors to play those roles. Now, it's not that Disney was going to be doing a good job anyway. We already talked about this, that the original idea to begin with was to make all of the 7 dwarfs different genders and different, members of, different ethnicities. Alright? That's what they wanted to do. From the very start, right from the get-go, they wanted people of different ethnicities and people of different genders mixed in. Which is why, with the magical creatures, the new variant of their new iteration, whatever you want to call them, of the seven dwarfs, are indeed a mixture of different ethnicities and different genders. That was all an original idea right from the get-go. The only thing that Peter Dinklage seems to have really interrupted was the fact that they went from using real dwarfs to actually using the magical creatures of all different heights as well. But what's really alarming about this is it goes to show you that Peter Dinklage has held this grudge for a very long time, because now he's not even getting roles with Disney anymore. This is exactly why he has been completely left out, and we'll talk about this in just a second, from Thor, Love and Thunder. Let's discuss. Now, many of which, of course, he was dropped from and removed from for the MCU. Surprisingly, he was supposed to have a last-minute cameo in Thor, Love and Thunder to be filmed quickly before release, and this all fell apart quickly. This is why Dinklage remains frustrated and angry with Disney to this very day, all because of the drama that happened with Snow White 24, leading to practically zero roles with anything Disney moving onwards for the MCU. This development makes it clear that Dinklage was very hypocritical in his comments from 2022 about using the dwarfs before filming even started by Disney at that time. And this is also why, behind the scenes, Dinklage is having an ongoing battle right now to get roles in both the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Which honestly, guys, I don't know why he would want those roles if they're going to be minor to begin with. It's not like he's going to be like a major player or anything like that. Sure, maybe they could modify Thor's hammer or something similar, or a different type of weapon if they want to embrace that, but him, it just comes across as him trying to put other people out of work. This way he could just have all the acting gigs to himself, having zero competition. And again, this is a shocking turn of events as it does unfold behind the scenes. He was offered, basically roles for the MCU right before he began opening his mouth about Snow White, and once he did that, that all fell apart. Because he wanted to ruin it for everybody once he was shot down, because they wanted to embrace unknown actors. And I think, it just goes to show you that it's really kind of making it harder for people in the dwarfism community now, because even with the upcoming Wonka film, you have Hugh Grant portraying an Oompa Loompa through CGI techniques, which is just laughable, to be quite honest, guys. I mean, come on. So, you have people like Disney, you have people like WB, you have other studios out there that are embracing these ideas of not including dwarfs in their films or in their shows, and I don't really understand that way of thinking. It's quite offensive, and to be quite honest, that goes against their whole idea of treating everybody fairly. It's very hypocritical nonsense. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.